Hello everyone, this is our second session of our lesson, The Great Stone Face Part 1. Students, in a previous session we have seen that there was a boy and a mother sat in front of the door, and when they looked towards the peak in front of their house, the boy and mother found that there is a shape of human beings, means the face of human beings when they look towards the peak. And then the boy's, means Ernest's mother, told him a great story about the great stone face. She told that in upcoming days the man will come who had exact similar face like the great stone face. And then after, Ernest continuously looking towards the great stone face. But one day a rumor spread in his valley. People told like that the man had arrived who have a similar face of a great stone. The man who arrived is named as Gathergold, who has wealth and who was actually from the valley, and then he returned back to the valley. So when Ernest looked towards the man, he found that there is nothing to be matched with the great stone face and Gathergold. Then Ernest became very nervous, but when he again stood in front of the great stone face, that he realized that the great stone face told him that don't worry Ernest, the man will come. So now let's begin with the second session of our lesson, the great stone face. The years went on. Look at that. The years went on and Ernest grew to be young man. Then after what happened? Years went on, Ernest became now child to the young man. He attracted little notice from the inhabitants of the valley. So many of inhabitants means people living in the valley, and they noticed that Ernest's behavior. They saw nothing remarkable in his way of life, except that when the labor of the day was over, he still loved to gaze upon the great stone face. People among the valley, people among the valley saw that uh, nothing to be remarkable, but they oftenly viewed that after the labor of the day, every day, Ernest went to gaze upon the great stone face. Their ideas was that this was a folly, but pardonable, because Ernest was industrious and kind and neighborly man. See, their people, means people's ideas was very folly thing, means foolish thing, that Ernest gazing towards the great stone face daily, but it was a pardonable, because Ernest was industrious, kind and neighborly boy. They did not know that the great stone face had come a teacher to him. Nobody knows that great stone face has become now teacher to the Ernest, and that the sentiment which was expressed in it would enlarge the young man's heart and fill it with very deeper sympathizes than others. It means what? The sentiments of Ernest now attached to the great stone face, he became teacher of him, and therefore whenever Ernest went towards the great stone face, he got more sympathetic. Okay, and his heart soothes. Then after, they did not know that from this would come a better wisdom than could be learned from books. They didn't know, means that people in the valley didn't know things about the things, what kind of wisdom that Ernest got from the great stone face. Okay, neither did Ernest know that the thoughts which came to him so, look at Ernest's page, so naturally in the fields and at the fireside were of a higher tone than those which all men shared with. Ernest was also surprised that how that thoughts and other natural behavior comes to him. Okay, and therefore hours and hours. He spent many hours in front of the great stone face. A simple soul, simple as when his mother first told him the old story. He beheld the marvelous face looking down the valley and still wondered why its human likeness was so long in coming. And as Ernest passed a lot of time, his soul was still simple. It's so simple that as when his mother told him the story in old days, I think you know that. And he had that marvelous face looking down to the valley. And he still wondered why its human likeness was so long in coming. Okay, like that. Then, by this time, poor Mr. Gathergold was dead and buried. By this time, Mr. Gathergold was dead and buried. His wealth, which was the body and spirit of his existence, had disappeared before his death. And what happened? See, that Gathergold man who was declared to be faced like a great stone face was dead, and his wealth and his spirit of existence were disappeared before his death. Since the melting away of his gold, it had been generally agreed that there was no great likeness, after all, between the ruined merchant and the majestic face upon the mountain. And then only people realized that there was no great likeness between the gathered gold and the majestic face of the mountain, right? So let's see what happened next. It so happened that another son of the valley had become a soldier many years before. Here, another character comes in the story. See, then what happened? The son of the valley who had gone in the military or who had gone to become a soldier before many years. After a great deal of hard fighting, he was now a famous commander. Then that boy of valley became a famous commander. He was known on the battlefield by the name of Blood and Thunder. See, who was known as Blood and Thunder, old and tired now. But that boy was now became tired and old. He had lately expressed a desire to return his native valley. And then that boy also have a desire to return his native valley. The inhabitants means the people, his old neighbors and their grown-up children prepared to welcome the renowned commander. So all of the people in the valley, they prepared for welcome the renowned commander. It was being said that, look at that, it was being said that at last the likeness of great stone face had actually appeared. And then people again spread the rumor that the likeness between the great stone face and commander great, therefore was the excitement, there was an excitement throughout the valley, and therefore there was excitement throughout the valley, and many people who had never once thought of glancing at the great stone face now spend much time in gazing at it for the sake of knowing exactly how General Blood and Thunder looked. So now what happened? As he was going to be sorry, he was going to be arrived in his native valley. Many people now spend lot of time of gazing toward the great stone face. Okay, for what? For the sake of knowing exactly how General Blood and Thunder looks. On the day of General's arrival, Ernest and all the other people of the valley left their work. And what happened? On the day of General's arrival, Ernest and all the other people of the valley left their work and proceed to the spot where a great banquet had been prepared. So then, what happened? All the people were arrived and they were waiting for the spot where the banquet means feast. Some people arrange the feast there for the welcoming for commander, right? So soldiers stood on guard, flags waved, and the crowd roared. And now the day arrived when soldier was actually be at the valley. So many of flags were there and crowd is roared there. Like then Ernest was standing too far back to see Blood and Thunder's face. But Ernest was very eager, but he stood very far away